but we actually only live on about 3¼ acre. Everybody's making noise behind me. Hey everybody, Katie here, and welcome to my bubble. If you can't tell, I've been a little under the weather for Mother's Day, so it affected my voice really bad, but today is my jam. Today is a perfectly gloomy, rainy day. It's kind of spotty rain here, and this is the perfect time for me to get some of these extra vegetables in the garden so I don't have to water them if I don't want to. I've also got some cucumbers that need to be moved because after I planted the seed, we got a whole lot of rain and they floated downhill a little bit. So I also thought I would show you around the property a little bit so you know what I live in. We don't have a big farm. I know there's fields and I don't know if you saw cows in my other video, but we actually only live on about 3¼ acre. Everybody's making noise behind me. The original part of our home was a 2-room schoolhouse, which is pretty cool. The schoolhouse was sold in the 60s, and those people built on what is my dining room and my daughter's room. The people we bought the house from built on in the 80s, which is my bedroom and hopefully one day my master bathroom. We've lived here 21 years and still not managed to get that finished. But there's just, life happens. There's other things going on you just can't control. So when we bought the house in 2004, we built on what is my office, mine and my husband's office. So, and we've basically redone everything in the house, because everything was from the 80s when we bought it. But today we're going to walk around and just show you where I live. First things first, though, these are the plants we're going to be taking out to the garden. I had a friend of mine, I've got tomatoes out there, but she did a wonderful job of growing her own seeds, and she has given me a couple tomatoes. This is the second one she gave me. This is a German stripey, big yellow and red tomato, just really good. And then we've got some yellow squash, and these are zucchini, because I do try to plant seed, but my seed for both of these was old. They should have come up by now and they did not, so I actually buy these from a neighbor down the road. Of course, I would rather support my neighbors than your bigger box stores, but we get stuff where we have to. This came from the bigger box store. This is my basil, and I didn't realize they had not been hardened off to the sun, and the poor thing got burned up. So I also bought a rhubarb plant, which I'm really excited about because I started a strawberry patch this year. Rhubarb is fabulous. It is a perennial. It will get bigger and bigger each year. So we'll have to find somewhere to plant this where it can stay forever. I also had an onion that sprouted. So what I'm going to do with this is I am going to go put this in the garden because I would like it to bloom so I could collect seed off of it. I can't believe it. It's only been sitting in the water 2 days. These roots were not here 2 days ago. So we're going to get it in the ground too. So as we're going to the garden, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the plans that I have. This is the back of the house, which is our offices, my husband and I. And we have these 2 flower beds, which we have tried different things. I actually grew broccoli back here one year, and it actually worked out really well. These two beds really do not get much sunshine. Matter of fact, if you look at the daylilies, if you look at the daylilies here, and then come over and see how they get smaller. That's because this one does not hardly get any sunshine, whereas this one gets tons of sunshine. It gets sunshine for several hours, especially before the pear tree blooms. This is a pear tree, and when it is blooming and then busts out into leaves, it does block quite a bit of the light. The ivy growing up the back of the house is creeping hemlock. It is a little invasive, but not to the point, it will not like tear off your siding, and it won't destroy your home. So I love it, and I've been letting it grow up on the screen. And before you all are like, oh, you're destroying your screens, I don't care. I can replace my screen. They're replaceable. But I do love the creeping hemlock. I've let it go here and there all over the property. Something else we have a ton of is monkey grass. Monkey grass is wonderful. It will grow anywhere and everywhere. And it does not necessarily spread overly quickly. All the monkey grass on our property that you will see, it is spread here and there. It came from one plant, and that I have literally just spread it everywhere. This is a flower bed that I have also had problems with because it absolutely gets almost no sunshine. This year I did actually start some herbs in here. We've got some sage, and there's a little bit of rosemary, and they're small. I just started them this year. And then I've got a little bit of lettuce trickled in here that I started late. And if you look close, there's some parsley. Yes, I need to do some weeding. I've actually just this year gotten into trying to grow my own herbs because I worked at a health food store for 9 years, and I bought all my herbs through her to help support her. Oh, another little flower bed, it's under a window in the house, is this one where nothing would grow. Absolutely nothing. I couldn't get anything to grow here because it gets little to no sunshine. So I had planted some oregano in another bed, and it got weeded out and died. So 2 years ago, I moved it. This is 2 years ago. And I'm actually getting ready to harvest a bunch of it so I can make spaghetti sauce this year. But oregano spreads pretty quickly. Like, this is oregano, and this is oregano. So I'm really excited that it has done well here because I couldn't get much of anything to grow. But this bed over here, I have talked to my husband. He is going to help me put in like a little greenhouse raised bed. So maybe we can grow lettuce up into the wintertime. I love lettuce. It's not just dressing. I love lettuce, and I love salads. So I'm really excited about that project. So we're going to head off to the garden and get these plants in. I've got them with me in my trusty backpack that's full of hand tools and clips and just anything that I need. It's just easier for me to carry it on my back. I'm normally trying to carry 50 things at once. That's very much not unusual for me. So there's the house behind me. Our property is actually an L shape. It is our bubble. And we call it our bubble because we literally have a little bit of everything. Behind the house is the hill, and then we have the forest area that is blocking, the road from us. And then as we go down the driveway behind me here, the garden is on the other side of that, and that is our flat space. So we got hill, we got woods, we got flat area. The only thing we don't have is like a water source, like a pond or something. But this is our little heaven on earth, and we love our home, and we have ever since we bought it. So now we're going to go into the garden. So now that we're in the garden, my garlic is behind me. It's doing fabulous. I do plant fall garlic. We are zone 6B here. The garlic does really well. I'm actually not too horribly far off from being able to dig it up, and I'm very excited, of course. Gardening does not have to be that difficult, and if something doesn't succeed one year, try again. I have years that things don't work out for me, but the next year I'll get a bumper crop. So we're going to go over what's in my little garden now. So like I said, this is my garlic, and I am super excited. We love garlic, and as of right now, that's a decent sized stalk on some of these. So I'm excited to see how big the bulbs are. We got to wait till the bottom prawns die off. So see, we're starting to turn a little yellow on the first ones, so the process is starting. But I also have tires around the garden. I actually use them as little raised beds. You can go to tire discounters or someplace like that, a tire place that they replace people's tires, and they will give you tires. I actually put compost in them in the wintertime, which works out to my advantage, to be honest. See, there's one way out in the middle of nowhere. I actually dug up pumpkin plants that had sprouted from that one and moved them. So we've got some radishes here. This is our onion we're going to plant just to try and get seed from. I think I'm going to put it over here with the radishes. We're not huge radish people. We found that they work excellent in stir fries, things like that, because they will stay crunchy, and they give you that little bit of heat. So I've got a few different kinds of potatoes. Our potatoes need a little more straw right now. These are your purple potatoes, which fabulous for getting those extra antioxidants. And then I've also planted some little creamer potatoes, which is just a little small white potato, and they actually came from the grocery. They had started to chit. So chit is where the potato the eyes start growing roots. We've got a few pepper plants going on. They're small, but they are mighty. I apologize. I cannot tell you what kind of pepper this is until they come up. They might be cayenne, or until they get bear fruit. I had an accident. All my seeds in my little greenhouse blew over one day. I lost most of my pepper plants. These were saved, but they lost their tag. But we will figure that out later. Something I did try and start this year was carrots. And whether I get anything out of these or not, I'm not for sure. Carrots see, there's a tiny one, take forever to come up. That's what our board is for, to cover our seeds. But in the meantime, I planted a new plant, and it is soybeans, or edamame. I am really, really excited about these. We actually eat quite a bit of edamame. These are actually radishes from last year. It was a plant that seeded itself. And so we're just gonna see what happens with them. I've actually not had to buy radish seed for 3 years now because it does very much seed itself. Our sweet potato slips are doing fabulous. I do start my own in the house. So they're started in water for a couple of weeks, and then I put them in a storage container with dirt, and this is the result. We have a little bit of broccoli that I started by seed. They're doing fabulous. The white that you see is really the only kind of like poison or pest deterrent that I use is diatomaceous earth because it is natural. I do get it at the health food store. It is a food grade diatomaceous earth. So that works out well. Oh, we do have our covering here for our cabbage. We get cabbage moths really, really bad. Matter of fact, once it was not frosting anymore, I went outside and I'm like, oh my goodness, there are flies already. And I look over and there's a cabbage moth flying around. I could not believe it. Oh, our tomatoes, once again, little diatomaceous earth. I am having a problem this year with little flea beetles. I don't see any on my young plants right now. Oh wait, no, flea beetles literally look like little black specks on the leaves of your plants, and when you go, you're like, ooh, what's that? It will jump off like a flea. They are making all these tiny holes in my tomato plants, and that is unacceptable. So we had to put down the diatomaceous. I did mention that we started a strawberry patch. Oh my goodness! Oh, what a wonderful surprise! Oh, we're gonna pick this. I can't believe a bird didn't eat it. But we just started this patch this year, so I've seriously only gotten like 2 strawberries, and my husband and I split both of them. So here's another one. Oh, it rotted. Oh well, okay. Now, our enemy of the strawberry. And once it stops raining, I'm going to put out some traps. You see that? Slugs. Slugs. Ew. We're going to... Oh, they will eat up your strawberries. Awful critters. Oh. Something else that we've got planted is our peas. The peas are doing extremely well. Peas are very cold tolerant. Here in Zone 6B, I actually plant peas around Valentine's Day. This year, we had a lot of rain. There was a lot of rain around Valentine's Day, and I was worried about my peas washing down, so I waited a week. They got planted a week after Valentine's Day. Even after they come up, they do not mind frost. So actually, some people believe that it can make the pea even sweeter. One thing I am really excited about is that our green beans are coming up. Aren't they lovely? So they just popped up like a few days ago. And we also have our beets. The beets are planted in February, the same time as the peas. They do not mind a little bit of frost, and it actually takes them a little while to come up. So they're one of your earlier crops that you can start. I have yet to be able to pick a beet. They're not big enough yet, but they still have a little bit to go. Oh my goodness, and I just noticed this. This has come up since yesterday. This is a loofah gourd. So I have a little trellis, sort of, that I made out of an old gazebo. I know the popular thing is to go get cattle panel, but this needed to be taken to the recycling or the dump and gotten rid of, so I used it. So now we're gonna go on and get our zucchini in the ground. The ground's still a little dry. We've been getting trickles of rain here and there. The radar shows that we're supposed to get rain most of the day, and we are supposed to get rain actually most of the week. The only dry day is going to be like Thursday. So we're gonna go on and get these in. These are just regular green zucchini. Like I said, I bought them from a neighbor, so the tag just says zucchini. But we're gonna go on and we're gonna get these in the ground real quick. So I'm sure some of you all have noticed I do not have weed barrier. I don't mind the weeds. I don't mind weeding. It's a decent workout normally. I don't want to spend the money on things like that. I've watched other YouTubers and they're like, oh, don't start a homestead. It's so expensive. And it's not. You don't need all that fancy stuff. If you want it, that's great. Go for it. I just don't really have the need for it. My garden is not that big. I am not trying to feed 50 people or the world. We have one child, and she's 20. She doesn't live with us anymore. She's at college. So, though she still mooches food off of us, I've never had the need for a huge garden. I think I am going to spray these with a little bit of water once we get everything in, just to make sure they get a good soaking, in case a lot of the rain manages to not hit us today. I don't want my little plants to go without, so. I've got plenty of room here, so I am going to put some of the yellow squash over here as well. And I actually have a spot where I tried to start some seeds. The seeds were old, that's why I had to buy some plants, and we're going to put some over there as well. This is wonderful. And I'll explain why. Our garden has been in this spot since we moved in. It was in this spot when we moved in. I don't know how many years they had it here, but something we very rarely saw were worms. If you don't see worms, you need to feed that soil, because if worms can't live in it, then your plants aren't going to like it either. And now when I dig in the soil, it's just worms everywhere. This worm is most unhappy with me. I have been putting 10-10-10 fertilizer, I just get from our local southern states, on the garden every fall. We are not the best at composting. I am going to start a compost area. Like I showed you, I just do it in the tires. And then I have a big raised bed that I was throwing a lot of compost in, mainly because I couldn't grow potatoes very well. Potatoes are really heavy feeders. They like a lot of compost. And I mean, worms didn't even want to live in our garden, so I couldn't grow potatoes. But over the last couple of years, I have been fertilizing a lot. And now, everywhere you dig, there's just worms everywhere. I've been thrilled this year. I'm like, oh, look at that big worm. But one thing I did notice the first year I started really fertilizing is the weeds love it as well. There were just Jurassic size weeds. So we're trying to keep those under control, not with a barrier, with my hands. Or we dig up a lot of them. For example, this is Johnson grass. This is the bane of my existence. Johnson grass is like a tuber. What you see, there is roots that grow from side to side. And even though you dig this up, there is still roots shooting out either side. And if you leave one teeny little nub in the ground, you get this, even more. And it just, and the roots are really deep. You think you've got it all, and then you don't. So we've been working on that. It's gotten better. I finished getting these in. Oops. Got one more. Just throw our sign in there for the fun of it. Now we'll go plant our tomato. Now, I've actually run out of room in my rows of tomatoes. Oh, these are marigolds, by the way. These are natural pest deterrent. I did start these by seed. Seed I saved last year. It's really easy to collect seed from them. We'll do that in the fall. And they start great. I started these in the house. So this one tomato, our stripey, that was given to me, we're just going to put it right in the middle here. That way I still can tie it up as it gets bigger. last year I did grow my tomatoes in the tires. Each tire got one tomato. We didn't grow as many tomatoes because I wasn't interested in making sauce or anything last year. We just wanted some fresh tomatoes. But a problem I was having was they were getting blossom rot, or rots on the bottom of the tomato. I added some calcium. That did help quite a bit, but I can't help but think that maybe it was because they were in the tires. So this year we're going to do things a little differently. So these are my cucumbers. Not a huge fan of pickling things. I love pickles, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a huge fan of homemade pickles, but we're going to try again this year. I'm especially not a fan of pickling other things. I just like pickling cucumbers. But as I said before, we got a whole lot of rain, like flooding rains. So I didn't plant these like that. They floated down here. Now, this is my little homemade trellis. It is part of a gazebo that fell apart, blew apart, came apart in a storm, and then I've just got some yarn wrapped around it. Cucumbers, they're not really heavy or anything. This should work just fine for me this year, and hopefully it will look a lot prettier than what we're looking at right now. But we'll see. So we're going to move these plants as well. Like I said, I'm doing all this today because it is gloomy. There's just, the sun is covered. Nothing will get burned up. We're getting rain for the next week. So everything I move or I should plant should be good without me dealing with it a whole lot. So we're going to get these cucumbers moved. Bear with me a little bit. I am still working through my phone. I am working on getting an actual camera and a microphone because I realize it's hard to hear if you're too far away from the phone. But we're going to move these cucumbers. Oh my gosh, I never realized they smell like cucumbers. I've never noticed that before. I guess it makes sense. So instead of using my big trowel to plant them, I'm just going to use a stick because I'm not for sure where the other seeds are if they haven't come up yet. So I don't want to disturb the ground too much. All right, that should do for now. There's a few that I can see that are just starting to try and come up. They'll pop up by the end of the week. So I almost forgot about our rhubarb, and the sun has actually decided to, well, peek out a little bit. But we are going to plant the rhubarb in a tire. And in case you're wondering, this is an old Little Tikes playhouse. This is where the tiller lives in the summertime in our garden. Please reduce, reuse, recycle. Do not think that you have to go out and buy some little building to put your stuff in, or cattle panels because you want, you know, a beautiful arch out of something. Try and use things you maybe already have. That's one thing about little homesteads and just farmers in general and stuff, is normally we have some pile somewhere that is full of crap that we don't know what to do with, or, you know, maybe just don't want to take to the dump. That's something I'm actually working on this year, is getting rid of our pile. But I'm trying to do it the efficient way. And maybe some of this garbage will help us by growing our food, or in this case, our loofahs to bathe with and wash our dishes with. So now we're going to fill up our tire with dirt. Something else I want to mention about the tires is that they will hold water. Look at that slug. Oh my gosh. But so this is beneficial in, you know, the summertime and the warmer months, because they will actually hold some of that rain in so the plant can utilize it later. But we're going to go on and fill this tire with dirt and get our rhubarb in. Johnson grass root. We don't want this. That looks great. So, and the deal with planting it in the tire is, if I decide that this isn't where I want it, it'll be a lot easier to dig it up and be able to get all the roots to move it, because most of our roots are going to be in our tire. So for right now, as a temporary home, I think this is fabulous. I want to thank everybody for coming out to the garden with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. As I get older, I find I learn something new every day, and it's wonderful. And YouTube is great for helping pass that knowledge along. So everybody, have a fantastic day.